Today we are talking about domain and range. Now, these are two very different things, but they're very closely related. Domain is all the possible values we can have for x, our independent variable. Sometimes they talk about reasonable domain. When they say reasonable domain, what that means is there's a limit. Like if you want to buy a ticket to the new Cowboys Stadium, there's only 7 possible levels, maybe 8, that you could sit on. So your answers can't be any different than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Those are the reasonable levels. Anything other than that, it's not going to be something that you can buy a ticket for, so you can't make up a formula to calculate that cost. All the time when we're dealing with domain, we would deal with how they lay on a number line from left to right. When you're looking at a graph like this that has the separate dots, which I've circled in red to make sure you can see, those are separate dots. This is discrete information. If you'll remember, we go from left to right. This one's at -2, so my domain would be, I make a bracket here, -2, comma. The next one is at 1 over, the next one is at 2 over, and the last one is at 3 over. All I do is list those x values if all it's asking for is the domain. And I don't worry about the corresponding y values just yet. When I have a line like this, that's continuous data, it stops at these points. So I put where it starts, that's -3 is less than or equal to, since I have a filled in spot here, x, because x is my domain, which is less than or equal to, now on my right hand side it goes over to 3. If this were an open circle out here, then I would have -3 is less than or equal to x, which is just less than 3. That open circle means it's not going to be quite to 3, but it can make it almost all the way up there. When you're talking about range, range are the matching values that we have for our y. They match up to our x values from the domain. On this we go from low to high. So my range in this same equation, or on this same graph, is going to start off with this bottom one at a -2, and then it's 1, 2, 3. And I can see from there I can calculate the slope of the line that these would fall on and other things. For right now, we're just worried about these values. On this one, when it's a solid line again, we're starting down here at -3. That'd be -3 is less than or equal to y, which is less than, or again, since we have this open one, it would normally be less than or equal to if this was filled in. Since this is now open and I've made that open, it's just going to be less than 3. Okay? These are very similar to my domains, but that's because I set these lines up to be that way. If we look down here, we can see a different situation. The line is going down. That doesn't matter. We're still going to calculate from low to high. It begins at -3, so -3, and since this is a line, -3 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to, you can see it goes up to 2. Now my domain from this one would still go left to right, so my domain would be -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to -1. It only goes over that 1.